Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Because without you guys, this would be nothing. Now, I'm on my way to work. I'm sitting in traffic, headed to D.C. to look at a project that we're going to be doing at one of the museums. And I got a comment about me driving and doing videos. Well, here's the thing. This is hands-free. It's in a holder that holds the cell phone and all that, and it's actually voice activated. All I have to do is say record video and it starts to record. So it's not hands-on or anything like that, and it's really like you're sitting right next to me and we're having a conversation. And I'm really careful about driving, and Lord knows it seems like I drive hundreds of miles on a daily basis. So I will be extra careful though, but thank you for the concern. But what I wanted to talk about this morning is being an expert when it comes to talking about football. See, I'm no expert. I am Joe the fan, just like you guys, giving you guys my opinion. Although, technically, I wonder what makes up being a football expert. Does it mean that you're an ex-NFL player and can talk about it? Is there a school to go to for footballology that makes you an expert? Because I see a lot of guys that I wonder about being an expert. Will Kane, a so-called Cowboys expert, was a Republican pundit a little over a year ago. So how did he become an expert in that short time? I wonder. And I look at some of the things that the experts say out there. You know, when you get the guys like Todd McShay and Mike Mayock and, all these guys that are draft experts that said that Jared Goff was NFL ready, best quarterback in the draft. Same guy said that Dak Prescott was Tim Tebow 2.0 with a slightly better arm. So, are they experts that know what they're talking about? What I try and do is this. I find myself, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, right more times than I'm wrong. And the reason being is I just don't rehash what you hear from the talking heads. I am truly a student of the game. I also enjoy history. And what's so amazing to me, if you really study football and know football's history, you'll realize that there really isn't anything new. Sure, it changes a little bit and modifies, but the bases are still the same. And in fact, history has a way of repeating itself. You know, when we look at the Green Bay game that we lost in the playoffs, that's not new. It seems like we always lose to Green Bay at the end of the game. We had the catch, no catch a couple years before. Aaron Rodgers goes down the field, scores, we lose the game. But you can trace that all the way back to the Ice Bowl. And the Ice Bowl and that time period has repeated itself so many times it's not even funny. Because it went down to the last play of the game. The Dallas Cowboys, the team that just couldn't win the big ones. And we lost that one in Green Bay. And what's amazing is everything that's going on with the Cowboys right now, you can look back and you can see it's happened before. The whole veteran quarterback, Tony Romo, the guy that's been there and been the stable guy, and then you have a young, unconventional quarterback that comes in Dak Prescott. So do you go with the young guy who is unproven, or do you stick with the veteran guy that everybody knows that's been leading your team? Well, guess what? That's happened before. The Dallas Cowboys went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Colts. Veteran quarterback, Craig Morton. The Cowboys drafted this young quarterback Roger Staubach, who was completely unconventional, 11th round draft pick. And the same arguments that we're having right now about keeping Tony Romo, because he's the veteran guy that's been there, we've had before between those two guys. That quarterback controversy was awful. It got to the point where Tom Landry alternated quarterbacks by play in a game. But here's what's really interesting on that. Actually, I tell you what, I'm going to insult that clip, and then we'll talk about it after that.
The number 2 quarterback controversy of all time. Craig Morton versus Roger Staubach.
The Cowboys actually had a very difficult choice here. You had an established, solid quarterback for a good team. Morton.
Craig Morton thrown as well on that one as ever thrown in his life.
Morton was a talented player. That's what people have to realize. He's a very talented player.
Staubach would get on the field, and fans loved him.
A different kind of weapon, a guy with a lot more mobility and a lot more daring.
Landry still was more comfortable with Morton because Roger would want to break all the plays.
He's the better runner of the two, though not considered the better passer.
You could see how torn Tom was. He liked Craig Morton. What was not to like? Craig was a really good quarterback. But he looked at Staubach, and even though he wasn't his style,
A great play by Staubach.
you could see him just wrestling game to game, almost year to year. What do I do with this situation?
Craig Morton was Landry's quarterback in Super Bowl V, but a losing effort didn't help his cause.
That kind of gave Coach Landry a reason to really look at Roger Staubach and say maybe this guy's the answer.
He was beginning to sort of phase out Morton and phase in Staubach, but he wasn't quite ready to make the full commitment.
The Dallas Cowboys have quarterback problems too. Only Coach Tom Landry has decided to solve his in a unique way. By rotating on every play, Roger Staubach and Craig Morton.
I run out the field, Craig's running off the field. I'm just mystified like he is. It's like 2 ships passing in the night.
It's very rare to see 2 quarterbacks being rotated. You don't really ever see it because it doesn't work. When I'm in the game, do me this favor, go get my dry cleaning for me. When I come back, I'll get your shopping list. So when you play in the game, I'll then go out, pick up the rice that you need for whatever pilaf you got cooking later on tonight.
It was right after that that Coach Landry ended up making a decision to go with Roger Staubach.
Secure in the starting job, Roger Staubach won Super Bowl VI for the Cowboys.
Staubach drops back to pass. In throws. Touchdown.
There wasn't any question now that Coach Landry had made the right decision.
What do you think, Coach? It's pretty nice. Congratulations. Really happy.
We found Craig Morton another place to go to where he could be that starting quarterback that he felt like he needed to be.
Morton goes to Denver.
The Broncos are going to the Super Bowl.
He winds up taking the Broncos to the Super Bowl, and they're playing against the Cowboys, and he's playing against Roger Staubach.
Kind of a special treat. I'd like to introduce you fellas. Craig Morton, Roger Staubach. Roger, this is Craig Morton.
Hello, Mr. Staubach. I've met Craig before, I believe.
Have you met before? I didn't realize that.
Roger goes deep across the middle. Butch Johnson caught. Touchdown.
The game turns into an absolute nightmare for Craig Morton.
Morton will throw, has time. Nope, Hennessy lets it go. It's intercepted again.
Winds up being benched.
Red Miller replaced the battered Craig Morton with Norris Weiss, number 14.
Norris Weiss finishes the game. A writer named David Israel wrote a story, and his lead was, throughout his career, Craig Morton always dreamed of winning a Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys. And yesterday he did.
Kind of eerie, isn't it? What's even stranger is the fact that Denver would like to have Tony Romo there, and rumors are that Tony Romo would like to go there. If that's not history repeating itself, then I don't know what is. And how crazy would it be if that happened and we ended up playing each other in the Super Bowl? I believe it could happen because, I'm a student of the game. And like I tell you, everything that you see that's going on, we've been there before. And when you look at the Dallas Cowboys during the 80s, where we had Danny White, great regular season quarterback, took us to 3 NFC championship games, but for whatever reason, just couldn't get us over the hump. That's Tony Romo. That's the exact situation that we have now. The Craig Morton Roger Staubach. That's Dak and Romo right now. And this team that lost in the first round of the playoffs, you can point back and say that's the 91 Dallas Cowboys with a young quarterback, Troy Aikman, an incredible running back with Emmitt Smith, and a very vocal wide receiver. That's Des Bryant. So none of this stuff is new. And that's one of the things that I do when I talk about football is I look to things that have happened in the past. And then I try and dig deeper into the numbers. You know, when I said Dak Prescott was going to be a good quarterback, it wasn't just I was just making a guess. I went through and I watched game film of him play, seeing the type of passes he made. And I looked at his numbers because they kept saying he's a running quarterback. Well, you could say that was true when he was a sophomore, his first year, because he did run a lot more. But each year, his rushing numbers went down, but his passing accuracy and his passing numbers went up. And when you looked at the Southeast Conference, a conference that puts 50-plus guys in the NFL every year, he was playing against NFL caliber players, as opposed to some of the other guys that are playing Division I AA, conference that puts in about 3 guys a year. So that's where I would come up with my reasoning. So am I an expert? I don't know. You have to decide for yourself. But I put a lot of thought behind everything that I give you guys. And thank goodness it looks like the traffic has finally opened up. So as always, friends, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. I will keep trying to give you the best information and the best conclusions that I can with as much behind it as possible. So thank you for watching, subscribing, and commenting on the Jobu Report. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Jobu, and have a great day.